Hello, hello, hello. This is Talking in Circles. I am your host, Fumi Richards. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going well on your end. Today on the episode, the second generation working woman, I said, okay, in the spirit of Women's History Month and the International Women's Day, it would be good to invite some women to tell me their stories, to share their experiences living with women who had to run 9-to-5 jobs or did businesses or anything that took them away from home and brought money to the home front. Or basically mothers who at one point or the other, were the sole breadwinners in their family. So this is quite interesting for several reasons, because I like to count myself as a second generation working woman. I would explain at some point what a second generation working woman. No, let me not explain that at some point. Let me tell you now. So a second generation working woman is someone who had a mother who, like I said, has done 9-to-5 or did 9-to-5 at some point, or ran a business, or in some way contributed to the home front. So my mother was a nurse for as long as I can remember. Yes. And today I have really lovely ladies here with me. So where do we begin? Who do we start from? Dara. So Dara is a lot of things. She is, okay, let's officially say her actual name. So she's Chidera Giselle. I don't know how to pronounce your surname. Like, I want to try it, but I cannot try it. But let's jump from there. So she's popularly known as Dara Giselle. She's a linguist, fashion designer, affiliate marketer. I did not know about that before now. She's a digital content creator who creates content on her YouTube channel, Dara Giselle. So this is also something that she didn't even tell me, but I know of, and I feel like it's within my power to mention. She was also listed by Trude as one of the 150 people who give him joy. Aww. So, in other news, ladies and gentlemen, and the people who love us in between, please say welcome to Dara. I will call her Dara because Chidera Giselle, that's so long. So let's just stay with Dara for this moment. So Dara, you're welcome to the podcast. It's really nice having you here.
Much. Thank you.
Yeah. So another person, Ife. Now this is hers is quite interesting. Not that Dara's isn't any interesting, but it's quite interesting for her because I think I told her one of the first people I told about the podcast, and she was like, "Man, you're doing really, really good work." And I was like, hyping myself, and I was gathering on my shoulder pads together, and I was like, "Yay! Fumi, you cannot disgrace your village people. No matter what you do, you cannot disgrace your village people." So, but on a much more serious note, Ife is also obviously her birth name is actually Ifeoluwa Ibrahim. She's a graduate of education and English language from Obafemi Awolowo University. Those of us from Great Ife, I can hear the bagba in your head. She's currently building her career in fashion. She has that which is basically her long-term passion, and she's the creative director of Phoenix Deluxe, a female clothing brand envisioned for creating excellent wares, make statements before utterance is made. That sounds very deep. Or is it just me? Anyway. So then the last but not least, and I say this for all intents and purposes. This one is I need to breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so being serious right now. So Mary Ogunbodede. I feel like she's known me all my life, so this is rather interesting. Okay, so she also went to OAU. Yes, she did her master's in OAU too. If you know, you know. It's not for the faint-hearted. It takes bold people, people who have serious mind to do that. You go there first, you come out, you go back again. It's not easy. But beyond all of that, I think she's diversified over time. Yes, she has known me all my life, yes, but I feel like at this point I will give her the mic to just introduce herself, because there's a lot here. So Mary, if you could just introduce yourself for like a minute or two, just give us a brief introduction.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for putting me on the spot for me. You're amazing, truly. Right, my name is Mary Ogunbodede. I'm a lawyer applying to Obafemi Awolowo University. I also did my master's at OAU. Currently, I work in telecommunications industry, particularly with the foundation department. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. If you remember, just before we started the recording, while I was saying I won't call the name of the network provider. Yeah, you get it. I'm continuing.
No. Okay, sorry, a call came in. I was just wanting to be sure that it didn't cut me off. But yes, so I have passion to possibly impact lives, and this led me to go into doing stuff for the public, for the less privileged. I actually own an NGO, and I started this in 2016 actually. What to do? I have I think I'm also diversified, like she said, different businesses here and there, into real estate, and also a distributor for one of skincare products. So yes, that's what I can. Let me leave it at that. And sorry for taking too long. I hope I did good for me.
Oh no, that's fine. I feel like you just cracked, but at least one of the few, some of the things that we know, you've already said it, so I won't say it again. But I know you scratched the surface. There's a lot more to you than you've mentioned, but we will not say anything right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us, Mary. So today we're talking about second generation working woman, and there are a lot of things that come to mind whenever I think of being a daughter to a first generation working woman, being that my mom was all that she was, and I feel like so many of the things that she's been and she taught me has kind of impacted some of my decisions today. And of course, there have also been times when I think about some of the things that she did, and I'm so sure that there's nothing that will inspire me to do it. I feel like there's no how. It's not possible. There's nothing that anyone will tell me that will make me take those decisions. Of course, there's also the fact that I always feel like, that one try, she gave mind. I don't really have that mind like that, and I feel like they don't say it inside market. So you see my point. But beyond all of that, I'm always curious to know how being a mother, being a daughter of someone who has done a whole lot to shape or create a good environment for you has in one way or the other shaped your own personal life. So okay, so let's start with Ife. What's your story? What's one thing that your mom, that knowing your mom as long as you've known her, I mean all of your life, but one thing that has inspired you, or one thing that has impacted your present day life?
Thank you, Chioma, for Mary Chat. Thank you for having me. Well, in my own case, I would say that the inspiration and the impact I got from my mom especially financially, are things that I would not want to do. Or I would say situations I wouldn't want to find myself in, because I feel like our financial life was majorly categorized by the fact that she really did not have a choice, can I say? Like, probably she has desires, but maybe the situation she's found herself, the responsibilities, I feel like it took a lot from her. And it's not like I'm not a kind of person that would not want to sacrifice for the people that I'm responsible to, but then I feel like in my own case, I would put myself first. And I think I noticed it, not just even this kind of women, the first generation kind of women around me at the time growing up. I felt like children was first in their life. Not like it's not supposed to be, but I feel like they were, should I say, bound, if that won't be too much. But I feel like putting things on the table, making sure that things go the right way, were things that really inspire me about them, and they would go at any length to make sure that their children get the best. The only issue with me is most of the times it is at their own expense. Like, it could be at the expense of their happiness or their rest or their savings. I can't even remember my mom having savings, honestly, because she's always putting everything. Everything was just for us. I'm grateful for that. It's sacrifice, but I'm not sure I would want to do that. Like, there are places and things my eyes is open to that. I feel like, instead of doing this, I would rather do this in order to avoid this.
I think that's an interesting way to see it. There are times when I think, going by what you said, there are times even when as a child I used to fight with my mom because I would just be like, she's giving too much of herself and it would be good for her to give. Okay, so for those who have listened to previous episodes of this series, of the Financial Woman series, you might have heard me say I'm a big advocate of loving yourself first. I give this joke and I'm like, man, people of God, Jesus has already died and he died for all of us. I'm not Jesus. I don't look like Jesus. I look like Jesus, character wise, and trying to mold myself into him and to all the lessons he's taught me and everyone who continues to follow that path. But I would always, I still tell my mom, I'll be like, I'm not Jesus. So this whole spirit of sacrificing everything, it's a really, really, it is something you learn to appreciate, because at the end of the day, you know that this kind of decisions, there's so many places in life that you would probably not have had access to if not for the fact your mom made those decisions. But at the same time, it's all because, especially I feel like in this generation there's a lot of selfishness, and I'm sorry to say that, but I just feel like there's a lot of selfishness, and so many times it's so easy for people to be drowned in the needs of others without actually achieving anything that they would want for themselves personally. So, but I think that's a very interesting light to put it in. Let's go to Dara. Dara, tell me your thoughts. What lessons or how has your mother's journey impacted yours?
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know whether it's appropriate for me to say it right now, but I grew up with a single mom. I saw her struggle to make sure we became something in life. Like, she would rather have no penny than see us suffer. Anything we want, she would make sure we get it and all of that. And one thing I really, really noted from her was the fact that she was a very hardworking woman, very, very hardworking, and she always tried to help people in any way she could. She always put others before herself. Quite all right. I love to give. I'm a very generous person and all of that, and I would love to do the same for my children. I would definitely go the extra mile for my children, but while doing everything, one thing I want to make sure I do is I should always leave a certain portion for investments and savings for the rainy days, because it won't be nice that today I have it all rosy and tomorrow nothing at all, and I now have to, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I would always love to, like, I have a friend that always teases me with, your life is all about savings, every little thing savings, you're always thinking of savings. Like, that's the kind of life I want to live. I don't want to be that kind of person that I'm spending anyhow and I have nothing to fall back on in case. I'm not saying my mom spent anyhow. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I'm not saying she spent anyhow, but to a large extent, she was always about... You said?
No, I think I understand where you're coming from right now.
Yeah. So it's not like...
Continue.
It's not like she was a reckless spender, but she puts people before herself a whole lot. And at the end of the day, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So for me, my priority, my children are going to be my priority. Then after my children, investments and savings before helping out other people. I don't know if you get.
So that's So I think that's another thing. That's how somehow I've had this conversation with a few other people, and sometimes I think about it and I understand that somehow our savings cultures or like our investment cultures are also as a result of probably basically childhood, one or two things that our parents did or something that might have impacted our lives in one way or the other as a child. It's always quite interesting to see this side of the conversation. So Mary, okay, so I know your story. I like to think I do, but okay, so let's just discuss what kind of lessons and impacts has your mom's journey made, your mom's financial journey made on you, given that she was first 9 to 5 and then at some point moved into business and all of those kind of things.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for me. Okay. So I'm the last child of my family. I think somebody else is too, but let me not go into that. And I think I was the only child who did not go to quote and unquote a boarding school. And so this made me very, very close to my mom. So literally you come home and then, it's both of us, talking and all of that. My dad was, I think he was in Port Harcourt for a while, business. So he comes and goes. So yeah, it was majorly me and my mom, and we had that bond. So yeah, mom started with the 9 to 5. She's also a nurse, and she started working, 9 to 5. And then after that, after a while, she moved to own her own clinic. Sorry, he had a clinic. How did that impact my life? Well, one thing happened to me. I don't know. I cannot understand the concept of housewifing. It cannot. It's not a reality to me. I don't even understand it. I don't know how people. I don't know. I mean, everybody's different. I think that background has changed me in some ways I can't imagine. She had passion to help people. My mom went ahead to open her clinic in the low-end income part of where I grew up, and I still low end. I'm sure Fumi Richards can understand what I'm talking about. You had all the other townships and you had other places where you had more higher level staff staying, and she went to places where you have the low cadre of class of people to provide healthcare. These are people who would want to prefer to give birth in their rooms than going to the hospital. And even when they come around to give birth, they don't get to pay. And sometimes at the beginning, the fees were as low as 2,000 naira, and then they won't be able to pay it, right? And for me, that was that was a lot. I saw her passion to help people. I mean, there are several times they come to knock on my window to say there's an emergency, 4 a.m., 2 a.m. My mom would enter her car and start driving down to the hospital, the clinic. So that, first of all, that helped me to understand the concept of, working with something that has purpose or fulfillment, something that will give you joy. She enjoyed what she was doing, even if sometimes they were not always paying, her bills, or rather, not her bills. Sorry, they were not always paying the bills from the treatments, right? And so first of all, that shaping my mind to be the fact that you don't have to be, like I said, I don't understand that part of that being a housewife. I don't understand it. That's number one. Secondly is the fact that my mom had my mom had sorry, I'm laughing. She sometimes would go into all these other things, like sometimes rearing of animals, sometimes she had a hair salon. And that's why I'm laughing, because she wasn't doing one source of income. Let me use that word. She was, had a pharmacy. So she was just doing a lot of things. I saw her more like a superwoman. And I think this has actually even, cascaded down to the children, especially the females, right? Fumi knows my sister. She's doing a 9-to-5, but she has a hair business that's doing so well. I myself, I've spoken about some things about myself, so you understand where all of this came from. Before she moved into her business or initiation of the clinic, when she was doing her 9-to-5, she was actually doing, quote unquote, like a catering service by the side, where she gets to bake bread and then give it to working class. She goes to supply them. During her break period at the hospital, her lunch break, she rushes down home. Yeah, she wasn't staying in Lagos, don't worry. So there was no traffic. She rushes down home, to prepare the afternoon meal, and then goes to submit to, her clients, right? Most of them were in the banking sector, right? And you wonder, why am I bringing this in? Because when she moved into, her own business, her own thing, these people became her clients also in the hospital. Basically, they now became like, she was now doing like a retainership for banks and, even for the oil and gas then, which was NNPC. Yeah, so she's like a huge superwoman role model to me. And yeah, it affected my sense of finances. I don't believe in staying in one place, being idle. Nah, I probably will fall sick. So yes, it has helped me a lot to see that you're a woman and you can do so much more. Thank you.
Okay, so I think Mary's mom and my mom had so many similarities. I think to a very large extent, I think that kind of explains why they were friends. Okay, so that's the backstory. Mary's mom and my mom were very close friends.
Yes.
So I think it's always interesting to hear this side, not just because I know parts of the story. It's also interesting because I feel like my mom was my superwoman. I think there are times I would tell God as a child, I'll be like, if I can be quarter of this woman, I'm not even asking for much. I'm not proud. Just give me quarter. I'll be fine. The fact that I can say, oh, I can be quarter of this woman, it means that there is hope. There's not even just hope. It means that I'm really powerful on my own. So I think it's always great to know that you had a superwoman who's been so intentional about doing a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so
Richard, if you mind, can I say some things?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So I observed that we ladies here, I think we have some similarities, especially our parents. And I think that's why now everybody here is an entrepreneur in one way or the other. So their life has actually inspired us, consciously or unconsciously. Like, I can see that there is no lazy person in here. And then these people, apart from being hard worker, they're sacrificial, like being nice. Apart from my story, listening to the stories of everyone here, I think the only place where they missed out, which also affected them financially, is the part where I don't think they don't love themselves. It's not like they don't want to rest. It's not like they don't want to slay. It's not like they don't want to chill with the big boys. But I think the issue is that it's either the resources were not enough, so they had to stay on their toes. Like, they had to make sure things don't go wrong. And possibly some of them, I don't know that aspect in other people's story. Maybe some of them didn't really have partners that supported them. Not really support, or partners who were like them, who would do everything, put everything on the table. Don't know if you understand what I mean. So these people, rather than they see that their children will lack or there will be a loophole, they would rather feel it at their expense. So I think everyone here would want to be like their mom, except the fact that we want to chill. I want to travel the world, and in order to, I have to take my
Mind you, if I stop, she's already traveling the world. This girl, do not tell your home matter. If me, I want to say, I want to travel the world. People will understand. If I, please.
Yeah.
No, but that's on the side and everything.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I think we do that.
Okay, the part where she. Okay.
Strong. Sorry to cut you short, Dara. We have to have a strong finances, and then it's not like they too didn't want to save, because honestly, for me, savings, having money in my bank account, even as long as the money is mine, to give me some security and peace of mind. Some people said money is not happiness. Maybe they should give me their own. You know, it just gives you security. And then another thing that I feel like can give me the life that they did not have is, I would not have plenty children. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. On that note, I think it's also quite interesting. So I think one thing my mom was always very particular. Like, she would have conversations with me, and then she would just be like, "Fumi, you can't be this person that, like, I've seen enough." She would legit tell me that. She would be like, "Oh, I've seen enough. I don't want you to see half the things I've seen." And I think it boils down. It stems from that kind of conversation as to, oh yes, I've had to do this sweat, but you don't have to do it, please, baby girl. You really don't. So, but yes.
Sarah wants to say something.
I keep on interrupting everybody. Sorry.
It's all right.
Okay, so the part where Ife said they didn't really have supportive partners, like, that's one of the reasons I jumped on this particular episode. Like, in fact, it's not one of the reasons, it's the main reason I jumped on this particular episode. Because we have so many women and so many young girls in this our generation are already falling victim. In fact, I almost fell victim in my past relationship. I almost fell victim. Like, it's a story I'm going to come out one day and just sit down and say. I almost fell victim in a relationship where I was in a relationship with somebody and he literally didn't want to do anything for me. Not even one thing, not even one favor. Like, there was literally a day we went out together and I saw pineapple. I live in Owerri, Imo State. So that day we saw a pineapple hawker and I was like, I want pineapple. Like, one pineapple 100 naira, like when they divide it and all of that. And he acted as if he wanted to buy the pineapple. All of a sudden I saw the woman going. I was not like, you not buy the pineapple again. He then said he checked his wallet that he didn't have change, so he didn't bother. And I said, at least you should have asked the woman. This was somebody that I was doing the most for. He would say he needs something, even if that thing is the only thing on me, I would give it to him just to, like, make sure he solves that problem or something. And he literally turned me into his ATM. He would call, and so many young girls are making this mistake nowadays. Yes, you are independent, you are financial, you have money, God has blessed you. But when you are dealing with people of the opposite gender, they are not bad people. I'm not here to say they are bad people, because I have this belief I'll have a happy marriage with a man that will take his responsibilities, and I'll just be his support system at times when maybe things are shaky and all of that. But young ladies should stop doing the most, because most times all these people show themselves before you even enter into the marriage with them. Although for some people it's different, like some men, maybe they had setback along the line, or they didn't show that part of them or something. But when you see something like that, like when God has been gracious to you, for you to see something like that, run. I want to be in a home where my husband will pay the kids' school fees, he will pay the rent. Like if I'm to support, maybe I'll support with things like maybe buying some, not all the food, because feeding a family is not easy, like support. Or maybe when some of the kids have already gone to secondary school and maybe the school fees for the primary school is much, and maybe my husband needs support for maybe one person's fees, I can come in. Not that I will not be the one carrying all the bills, because that's what happens to most of our parents, some people's parents. That's what happened. They got married to people that saw that their wives cannot stay and see their children hungry, their wives cannot stay and see things go wrong, and even when they now have, they will withdraw. They will not show that they have, because they know that the woman is always doing the most. Like she has no saving sense, she has no investment sense, and all of that. So they'll just stay back. And that's why you see some men, they don't give anything to their family, but their side chicks are doing so well, living in very expensive apartments, living in using very, very expensive phones, using the most exotic cars, and their family, their wife does not even have half of what their side chick has. Their wife is there hustling day in, day out. They're opening businesses for side chicks. So I think every financial woman needs to be conscious. In as much as you're financial, you're independent, do not show any man that you're willing to go the extra mile for him. No, you should go the extra mile and you just support. I'm not saying you should not contribute at all to the finances, but know where to stop. Don't give in to sentiments. Know where to draw the line. Know where to stop, and allow the man take his responsibility. You may think that you are sacrificing for him and you are being all lovey-dovey, but I don't think that's how many men think in this age. Majority of them don't think in that way. Once they just see that you're willing to go all out, that you don't even think of yourself, you don't even look after yourself, you don't use that money to pamper yourself, they just relax, they just start chilling and leave everything for you, and they come up with stories every time. So many men are like that, but God will help us with ones that their heads are correct, but we just have to be conscious.
Amen. Sister Dara. Amen. I think one thing my mom, and going back, this also goes back to what my mom has said a couple of times. She would tell me, marry a kind man. But at the same time, one thing that is so beautiful about love is that it pushes you to stretch. So your definition of stretching might differ based on what you know or what you can afford, or probably based on one or two things you've learned as a child or learned as an adult, or however. But love pushes you to stretch. There are some things that might be uncomfortable to do, but because it's love, you find yourself doing it. But the irony is when you are giving that love and you don't realize that the person you are quote and unquote in love with is not giving you any love back. Gary Chapman puts it as fueling the love tank. Because there are so many men who are not taking responsibility. You get married, for heaven's sake, you got married. You should take on your responsibility as a man. That's non-negotiable. And at the same time, the Bible says that Eve, let's use Eve as an example. Eve was created to be a helpmeet. Yeah. So being a helpmeet is a helpmeet. It's not sole provider. But that's just me, and I think I want to hear Mary's views on this particular conversation.
Hi. Okay. Wow. We've switched from finances into relationship. Amazing. But I think it's kind of interwoven because, of course, we're speaking about our mothers, and marriage is also, our relationship rather is very key in all of this. For me, I think there are issues, right? Issues in the sense of, I'll start with financial literacy. Most people do not know about money or savings. They don't have the right concept. They may feel they know, but they do not. And because of that, this may make them poor investment persons, or they don't get to invest, right? Some people procrastinate. You could say, oh, I'll do this later on now. There's always money. That assumption. And then that may not be the end, what's it called? The end result. And I mean, I wouldn't blame, the older generation too much. Because you will be amazed about the fact that we don't have this in schools. First of all, that nobody teaches financial education or literacy in whether primary schools or secondary schools and all of that. Now, if you don't have a very strong father figure or a mentor, somebody who takes you under his sleeve or her sleeve and then tries to put you through. And I think that is why we are different here. You hear us all, having our own businesses or having something that we are doing that we're passionate about, and we can't be idle because of the role model we had, right? If for any reason the other party does not have that, it could affect the disposition. I do not think if you ask anybody whether in a relationship or not in a relationship or they grown up, and you ask them, do you plan to be poor in life? And they'll say, yes, I just want to be lazy or idle. I don't think anybody sets out to do that, but it does happen. And because if you do not prepare properly, that there's that 5 P's. I said, he who plans to be fails to plan, plans to fail, or something funny, or poor preparation produces poor results, or some poor performance. There's 5 P's like that. But I think this is part of what I'm hearing come out, right? When you have men, I don't know about you guys, but I know the way they focus on women growing up. Don't sit down this way. Your husband with Kenny Kong, you need to know how to. You don't leave your clothes that way. And your brothers, your siblings, they can't do anything, and they will not say anything to them in that sense, or be that harsh or strict. Say, no, don't do that. You can't do that. You don't. You're a man. You're supposed to be. So they don't come with that sense of responsibility early enough, right? And it may affect them growing up. If they don't have people, women are they want to learn. There's this wonderful way God has created us. If I ask any of us, how many of you listen to relationship messages now? You raise up your hand. Go and ask your male counterparts. They say, what? I should go and read books on relationship, or I should listen to message, or go for seminar. Why? There's that, I don't know how to explain. There's this thing about them wanting to. So when you do not have such knowledge and you're not willing to you're not predisposed, let me use that word to getting as much as you can, or being humble enough to collect it, it may escape you. If you look at the top business owners, men now in this lifetime, check, they probably had an uncle, a father figure, a mentor, somebody that was in that space and helped them to see life in a different, it's shaping them such that they kind of, when they came, they had that advantage. You understand? Anyways, having said that, I will also move into this issue of support systems, right? So in marriage, you have the general ones we're used to is the man being the what will I use now? I don't want to say sole provider, but being like the chief, the major corner piece, something like that, like the major person, and then the woman being the lesser quote and unquote provider. Goes to probably a very, very not too strenuous job, so she can take care of the family, and all of those things, and that is what we are used to, right? But I think God in His infinite mercy has created people differently. So you have people who are out there. I'm going to call some names, and I'll ask you if you know their husbands. Just yes or no, right? How many of us have heard of Ibuku and Woshika?
Yeah.
Please, Auntie, I.
Auntie, or Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Yeah.
Right? Have you heard about the husband as much as you've heard about them?
No.
Okay. Now, where am I going to with this? These women, to be where they are, all those speaking engagements, all those things are going on, and how whatever it is, to ensure that their home does not suffer, somebody has to be the support system. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm so sorry to cut in, but you know that sometimes with the whole like, oh, okay, I'm not, and I was very clear when I sent in my brief, I'm not a feminist, but to mention someone that a lot of feminists, quote and unquote, refer to Chimamanda Adichie. She's married, very happily married, and there are times when she alludes to her husband, and it's so clear that he's so supportive of her journey.
Thank you.
She also has brothers who are very supportive of the journey.
That's it.
Even I believe that women can be helpmates, but I don't believe that certain things are for men and certain things are for women. Like maybe women should be less. Like you can have your area of strength, and okay, if God bless me more than my husband, like financially or something, or maybe my husband can nurture the children the more. Not like I can't do it. I'm doing it. I'm like I would say I'm like a vice parent, even in my home, to my younger siblings. But then after I marry now, then I just like all these women that Mary mentioned, you have things to, because those things will bring money to the home. You know, you are fulfilling purpose. So some the life of the children to suffer because of your own, fulfillment.
So there's the place of passion to just give, passion and purpose to give. And because at the end of the day, I have seen the grace of that giving. Now, my godfather will tell me, oh, that I behave like my mom. And I'll be like, that's a blessing for you to say that to people. Oh, no, it means that my prayers are paying off. At the same time, it doesn't mean I would empty my account because of somebody. I could, but then that still small voice, it has to be a very loud voice. Like I have to hear it loudly in my ear. Like God has to be very clear before I can think, oh, let's do that. But it doesn't mean, but because of the fact that I've seen testimonies, it makes it easier for me to recognize it. If God were to say, okay, let's be more dramatic and give very loud, like, oh, yes, give all you have, then we might say, oh, let's do that. But beyond all of that, on a more serious note, not because I was not serious the last few minutes, but the point is, over time, I have come to respect our mother's sacrifices in one way or the other. Yes, there are times where we feel like they're shortchanging themselves. There are so many times I felt like if I could just use something and hit this woman and said, maybe she will calm down. But glory to God, I will not hit her. But in context, I will not want to hit her. But I'm just saying, there are times when I really felt that, man, this is just too much. How can you do this? And I say this, and also knowing that Mary's house, growing up, Mary's house was like revolving door. You know when I say revolving door? Oh my God, revolving door. You will get to a house, people like there's no really. Oh God, there's so many people who grew up in Mary's house that are not actual people that are supposed to be that are related to her. It became a thing, so I think we all got used to it.
I mean, there's something there's a new one you've not heard about. Yeah, there's a new addiction that you've not heard about. Yeah. So, in her 60s, decided that she wants to help again. So, yeah, not adopt. Hey, unofficial adopting. Yeah, we have 3 extras. So, yeah. Go ahead.
Wow. So, you see, so in those kind of contexts, you just know. I mean, Mary's is the last official child. I say official because they're
official. Yeah. They're very correct.
So, but Mary being the last child, and then you just see that she just wanted to always have children. Now, I'm not saying this because I feel that everyone has to be like that. I feel like, given the context of being a second generation woman, I feel like there's a lot of wisdom, there's a lot of knowledge. I mean, you go on Google and you can find so much more knowledge than you need. So I feel like there's that piece of wisdom to know how you can be of help. I mean, nowadays, you don't even need to go out on a limb to do something. You can open a GoFundMe, me or somebody, and that will be the way to bless the person. Context. It could, like, you could do crowdsource funding, whatever. There's so many ways to actually be a source of blessing to someone. That doesn't
personally,
necessarily
personally, I feel like I'm just one of the preachers of we all should know where to draw the line. Like, okay, let's say for instance, somebody is earning 100k in a month. As the 100k is entering into your account, I should expect that, okay, out of that 100k, if you don't want to save so much that you now be stranded, you should save like 20k out of the 100k. Then you solve some of your needs. Then if there's any money, like, and somebody needs help, you can help the person. And then sometimes if that help that the person needs is pressing, you can also help, because some of our parents, they were used to giving people fish and not teaching them how to fish. I don't know if people get that. I would rather give somebody 50k to get a sewing machine. Let's say she's a tailor and she doesn't have a sewing machine to start her own business and all of that. I would rather give her 50k to start up that business and know that I've settled her, than give her 10k every month. Every time she comes, I'll give her 10k. Every time she comes, I'll give her 10k. It would be nothing for me to sacrifice that 50k for her to have a means of livelihood. Like, I'm not against giving, but I'm just against unreasonable giving. Like, people should be accountable for what they are giving them money for, number one. And number two thing is, there's a type of thing you should give money for, not just everything. Although some people need pressing money, like they need 10k urgently and you have to give them. But servicing has to be very, very genuine. I don't know if you get.
Yeah. So Dara, I hear you. I was laughing at some point. But you remember when I started with my second point, and I was talking about financial literacy. Most people, I don't think they wanted to make people coming back every time, or they just that need to help, and they probably did not see it this way, because that's just the truth. Yeah, it's good for you to, why not even establish or help them be established, such that they can begin to help even other people, than always, coming to you and then not being able to move on. And like Fumi has said, for me, whatever way they went through is a win-win situation, because whatever you are given, right, you're always going to get the returns on it. Was saying about clearing account. No, you would know what it's. No, it's I won't call it a law of harvest, but it's going to happen. It may not. It's not going to be the source. And you're hearing her saying things that happened after her mom passed, right? It just happens like that. It will always happen, whether or not. So if somebody does you bad, God forbid, and then you repay bad, the person that did bad has sowed his seed. You as a person, do your own good and let it move on. I'm very sure if we want to start talking about when people did bad to our parents who helped them, we would probably not leave this podcast or this session today, because we all start saying, hey, I remember that time when Nagbaja did this. So it always will happen. And there are times when you may feel that, mommy, but you have sense now. Why are you behaving like this now? But you're not a fool now. Why are you allowing them? But it's just like that. They have done their part. They have given. I'm sure that now, our own generation, like you said, you won't be giving them fish. You actually give them something to use to buy the fishing hook, so they can go and do their own fishing themselves, right? But I think at that time, not everybody, for me, had that financial literacy that will be able to apply this. They may not have known in that way, to be able to do this. And for me, I don't know if I could. I still have a couple of things to say. I don't know if I can talk, or if I should just wait till a better time. Can I?
Go on. Yeah, go on.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, I was talking about support system, and I was using those people as examples to say that we have families where, the woman may be the one that is more out there, people like Joyce Meyers and the rest, and their husband is the support, I know that we're used to it being the other way around. The man is the forefront, everything is revolving around the man, and then the wife is in the background. But sometimes you may have it, what's the quote, switched, right? And if you know of these women, and we see them on magazines, we see them in TV, on the news, see them, and we're happy conferences, and we're like, go, go woman, or go lady, go girl, I don't know. But we're hailing them, and this month is IWD and all that. But if they had husbands that said, no way, fam, nothing will happen, they will stay. Because at this time, these are people that these are people who are in their 60s. The two names I mentioned, they're not so young. They may be in their late 50s or in their early 60s, or even older than that, right? And if at that time when they were married to their spouses, and they said, no, you're not working, or I'm not going to support you in doing this, nothing would have happened though. Like, it's either their home will be broken or something. So I think sometimes we need to still give kudos to those people who were man enough, because a lot of sacrifice, a lot of, I don't even know what men discuss, but I can imagine in those days they may tell them that they may start calling them woman rapper, or start feeling like you're not man enough because you have to stay at home and babysit because your wife is going for a program. Are you stupid? Are you foolish? That kind of work, that kind of funny statement from their mouth, right? So I think it is more about understanding the fact that we all have our callings, we all have what God will have us do, and if somebody has been called to say, okay, this is what I want you to do. I know we have friends. For me, alluded to the people who just want to get married and we take care of the home, and we may say, but maybe that's what they are called to do. I don't know, but I won't be able to do that. I'm sorry, I will fall sick if I just sit down and do nothing at home. I don't know how to do it, right? But there's some people like that.
Sorry to cut you.
And
it was actually a day I did this podcast. Someone invited me, and the person's topic was living the baby girl life. And we went back and forth. Like, it was funny because in my mind, I was like, yes, living the baby girl life. Yes, sure. And then when the podcast started and I was now actually expected to talk, I realized that, you see this baby girl, I want to be it. I know that I am called for it. I know it is in my calling. But I honestly cannot sit down at home. Like, it's not like I can't sit down at home. I just don't see that as a reality. It doesn't make sense. I honestly just don't think it is possible to be that person who is solely dependent on my husband. No, not because I feel like when the man I would marry should be responsible for the house. He should have that sense of responsibility. That's non-negotiable. But at the same time, for me, I should be able to have like my own personal money from my own personal work. Like, if you decide you're sending me, it's not sure if now. We agree, you are sending me allowance. I collect my allowance, I go back and do my work. I might even take from the allowance and do my work. Anyhow you want to do it. But it's as much as there you're saying.
Oh, sorry.
May I say
I'm not so insistent on the allowance thing. Like, maybe he must give me allowance or all of that.
There's housekeeping allowance.
Is like, you have to take your responsibility as the man. And before we get married, we have to sit down and have a deep talk about finances. There's something I posted on my WhatsApp status, I think 2 weeks ago, that why is it that most times when the woman is the breadwinner in the family, there's usually strain in the marriage and it's usually toxic. So many people gave reasons, but there was one particular person's explanation that really hit the nail on the head. She was like, if the bills are split 50-50, there's usually no problem. If it's 70-30, no problem. If it's 100%, no problem. But once it's the other way around, like it's the woman taking up all the responsibility, like doing everything. Like, it's different from a man supporting your career and letting you stand out and all of that. And him just relaxing and leaving you to take all the responsibilities. Most of those men that are the background and their women are the limelight, they still have responsibilities that they are taking up. They still have things they are doing. And many of them still have domestic workers that are doing some other things. Like, they are not babysitting per se. but they allow their wives to go out and fulfill their career and all of that. What I'm just against is a man relaxing, the woman will be doing everything. Because this thing I'm saying, I'm talking from not like personal experience, but from people that are very close to me, like very, very close, that are family to me. I've seen them, they're in marriages, they're the ones footing all the bills. They are living in the house with the man is lording it over them. He wants them to be submissive. And men like that carry respect on their head like gala.
Yeah.
He wants them to be very submissive.
So there, this is very true. Yeah, this is no, you're very correct, because I mean we see it. I mean, I don't think there's anybody here that have not seen it. And one of the things I feel should address this is, I think sometimes when people are in relationships and you just hit him on the head, I'm just smiling because I had written down some things, and when you were talking, I was just smiling like, okay, fine, somebody's reading from my notes, right? But I feel that sometimes people are so much in love, they do not discuss serious matters. Do you understand? You're in the wheel of the whole thing of the moment. Everything is shocking you. Everything is, oh my God, he's so handsome. Oh my God, he got me diamonds. Oh gosh. Oh, I don't know. He bought me Rapa. I don't know. Anyways, basically, you're so happy about it. You fail to discuss about the what ifs. You fail to have serious conversations about your expectations. Hey, it's okay. You've asked me to marry you, or we're courtship, or whatever it is that anybody calls it nowadays. This is what I expect of a man. These are my expectations. You'll be amazed that the man may have a different expectation from yours, right? And I think it's an assumption that people come into and it just backfires. Let me use that word, because there was no discussion about, okay, when this happens, what will you do? How would you react? Right? For example, I mean, there's some things maybe you expect a man to do, as in straight up. You understand? And if you don't discuss it, you would be shocked that the man would think otherwise. I was reading this book by Gary Chapman, Things I Wish I Knew Before I Got Married, right? And I would recommend for everybody, man or woman, when you're in a relationship, when you guys are heading towards that area, please tell them, both of you should read and discuss, because it's going to help a lot. Things as simple as washing of car. The man wanted to give it to this car wash, and the lady was very, let's say, getting a bit, I won't call it irritated or something, because to her, your manliness, part of it is that she be able to wash your car. Why should you give it to somebody outside? Do you understand? That is as small as an expectation, even down to who will wash the dishes, who will wash the toilet and all that. The woman said, my father does wash the toilet. I mean, I don't understand. Why are you leaving it? Why are you this lazy? And the man is like, I mean, but so those are the little, like, different things you need to, because we grew up from different environments.
Yes.
I may have grown up in a place whereby, thank you. So if I feel that if it's my own house, my daddy does the mopping or bakes the bread, and then you as the money, you now wake up, where is my food? I'm like, are you joking? Really? So already you start getting this irritated, like, are you a man? Why can't you? I mean, why are you yawning in the morning? What are you doing on the bed? Like, okay, let me not make it look like what are you doing on the bed. But you get on Saturday, my daddy always bakes bread, for example. I must say my dad bakes bread. I'm just going as an example. And or he says, and you're like, no, now. But so those are things I think that from our conversations and even from reality, people do not have. And so expectations, the man cannot jump into your mind. Same thing with the man. I mean, or rather with you. You can't, I mean, you don't know what his own expectations to maybe that, okay, I grew up, my mom took care of me. She was the breadwinner. So I expect that my wife will be very supportive. I don't know how to explain. That's an example. So
us having this kind of conversations with potential spouses before they actually become spouses. Because
no, not in marriage now. Before you.
No, I'm saying now, like, let them just be the potential. You're just looking like, we're actually in a relationship. Then we should have these conversations. It's healthy to have this kind of conversations.
Yeah, friendships, bleeding. Yeah,
we need to understand what kind of expectation you're coming into this thing with, so that I'll be able to be sure of what kind of expectation me I'm also coming with. Let's have that conversation, because at the end of the day, let us not go and be shocked.
I'm sorry, let me just round up. Sorry. I think it's there. I don't know who is about to say. But because if you don't discuss it, it could be a big issue in future. This issue about splitting of the bills or who takes care of what or something like that. And then please, at every time, let there be a room for the fact that things may not go well. We have people who sometimes they had setbacks. Do you understand? Basically, how many months do you look at? Like the different thing that comes. Someone could lose their job. I don't know. I think some of us heard about that lady whose husband lost his job, and then they had to make do and cut down a lot of expenses. And then later on, I think the man became a pilot. Thank you. And you saw the way she had to. But those are things that people will say. Somebody was like, so is it not happen every day? But these are things you need to discuss so that you know what's up, and then you have that back of your mind that this thing could happen. Yes, we all want a man who is
setbacks happen.
Superhero.
I think I mentioned it at some point that setbacks happen, and it's totally different if he's having setback. But some people, I don't know, there's something Igbo people call arurala. Like they just love to take advantage of others. That's what I'm just against.
So Dara, I hear you, and I have it here.
I know that if he has, he would bring.
I think I would want to go back to that part where we were talking about mommies giving and giving. Kudos to them. And you know what? We are always saying that all of us have that kind of relationship where we saw that our parents gave. And honestly, even I will be sincere that those givings come back to us. Like there are people they gave to who didn't really compensate them. But then I have enjoyed, and even my siblings have. It might not be finances, it might not be money sometimes. It might just be somebody coming through for you or one door opening for you. And you know that it's because of the things that your parent has done in the past and the grace of God, obviously. So, but what I want to point our attention to is, even though we sort of complain that these people did so much, they're out of their, over their own convenience. Fact is, if we are not careful, we will go the same way. And this is what I mean. Like, apart from it being an habit, they could have influenced us with that character. Now, it's good to be nice. It's good to be giving. If you are a Christian, it's more recommended. You don't even have to be a Christian to give to people, because there will always be people that you are better than. But we won't want to find ourselves in a situation whereby we are stranded because of the fact that we helped somebody. And it shocked me to realize that something like that actually happened to me last year. Like, because I discovered that somebody was in a problem, I had to give everything that I had. It was later I was thinking, like, wait, why was I the first point of contact for this person? Didn't the person have family members, extended or close by, and all of that? And I'm feeling like I complain about this is the same thing my parents do, like complaining about, but look at it is already happening to me. So if we are not careful, because if you notice, there are certain things that you'll be complaining about, mommies especially, daughters and mommies, they sort of argue a lot. There are certain things you'll be complaining about your parents, that especially your mother. If you are not careful, you will start noticing later that even you have started exhibiting those traits. Why? Because according to psychology, our personality is what is it called? There are two major things that are responsible for our personality: heredity and environment. There are things that you took from
environment.
There are things that you took from these people, and then you grew up in their environment. You saw their way of life, even though you might complain, but later you discover that you are even acting like them. So the fact that because I believe that everybody here, or maybe me, I discovered that this generation, we are more educated than they are. So that gave us the advantage to be literate. You take it upon yourself to be financially literate. So it might not be nice socially. I might be crossing my boundary, but there is a message by Pastor Sam Adeyemi that really helps my life. Pastors are people that encourage you to give to the Lord and give to people. But honestly, this one opened my eye to the fact that you cannot be Jehovah Jireh for everybody. So I would encourage women of my generation, I am privileged to have a relationship with Christ. So lean on the Holy Spirit to direct in your finances, especially in your giving. Because when you give, there are times I give and I feel fulfilled. There are times I give and I'm hungry, honestly, because I feel like I acted on my sentiments rather than being led by the Spirit. So, and the fact that we are getting knowledge about our finances, that would help us. Then the second thing,
on that note, okay, so on that note, I wanted to say something. Something happened last year. A friend had asked me for money, and that sum was just about 70% of my salary at the time. So I remember going back to what Ife just said. I remember telling my brother about it. I was like, because my brother already said, that because my brother has been a very a constant in my financial journey. He has been that person who will tell me, I can't, what does it mean that I don't have money that I've saved? Like, what does that mean? And he will say it in such a sarcastic way that it will be loud in my ears. And going through that journey with him and him mentoring me, so to speak. When that person asked me for money, I thought about it and I was like, okay, this is somebody that has been really helpful in my journey in one way or the other. The person has shown and supported me. And I told my brother that I want to give her this money, but then I just feel like it doesn't make sense that I give this much, because if I give this much, it means that I'll be broke for the rest of the month. I mean, it was just a beginning part of the month. And then I thought about it, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to go inside and pray and think about this, if this is actually a viable option. So what she had said was that she wanted me to lend her the money, not to give her for dash. So besides all of this, like with all of this conversation, we've had a lot of things come into this conversation. But one thing I forgot to mention was the fact that in more ways than one, my mom has also in fact impacted my financial journey in saving and investing. So here's what happened. In 100 level, I had lent somebody money and it became a terrible drama. So my mom told me next time I should not borrow money I can't dash away.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
If the money is more than I can give away for dash, I should never ever lend that kind of money out, no matter what. That I'm just in 100 level and I'm already borrowing money. What's that? So when the lady asked me last year to lend her that money, I thought about it and I was like, I cannot dash somebody half of my salary as I stand right now. It never reached that one. I honestly don't have that spirit. So, but I told myself, okay, I know she's in need, and I was trying to wait. And I at some point I started praying, and I was just praying in tongues. And at some point, I just told myself, okay, we'll go to sleep. And what just came to me was, get some sleep. If you wake up tomorrow morning and the direction you get is to give her that money, then without delay, send her that money. I already had the lady's account number because we had sent money back and forth before. So I had her account number. So I woke up the next morning and and what just came to my mind was, ask her, that it doesn't she have family members? I don't have somebody that can ask for money. and then I told her that, and then she came back to me and she was like, that she asked her brother, but then she had already asked her brother for half of that amount before, and she hadn't giving him back the money. That was answer enough, my
That's
people.
a red flag.
I just concluded in my head, this is not gonna work. And I told her, that I'm so sorry. And because I won't lie to you, I would tell you I don't have the money to give you. I have the money, but I just don't have the money to give to you.
Yeah.
I don't have this money for you. That kind of context. So when I said that, I think for some days she didn't talk to me. And then a few weeks later, something came up again and she talked to me, and I was like, okay, may the Lord bless you and keep you and cause His face to shine upon me, because I'm not going to be stressed. And I found that, leaning back to what Ife said, I found that I had peace when I made that decision. I had been very worried the night before because I was like, this is somebody that has helped me. It doesn't make sense to not be in that space to help people, to help her.
Yeah.
But
Richard, you know what made it worse?
Yeah.
What made it worse is the fact that our generation is entitled. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is
You know, the
another thing.
generation of our parents, the generation, I grew up somewhere in Ondo State, a remote area. Honestly, I tell you that, I can say that it's not only our parents that raised us, neighbors raised us. If your parents are not there, neighbors will give you food, you know. And it was like that for my parents too. If our neighbors were not around, the children will not be stranded. My mother cannot be looking at the children of our neighbor, you know, hungry. They sleep in our house, they do everything. But the moment we move to a civilized area, we discover that things are different. Everybody's in their own flats. You just come back from work, pack your car. You might not even see yourself in a year. What I'm trying to say is that their time was different from ours. Those days, if parents borrow money or they give like you mentioned, your mom was always giving people food because that was what they needed. Now, people might not even have food or they have food. People can borrow money to slay, to buy ashwebi.
Yes, honestly.
It does not, like, how do you, like, people borrow money without having intention of paying back. Or maybe they don't have a backup plan. So you can't afford to fall victim at all. You can't afford to fall.
Yeah.
It's good to be nice. It's good to be a giver because it will always come back to you. But please, don't.
I think it goes back to that, like, dividing. Like, so now something like I currently do, and it's because so when I first got when I started doing like a salary paid job, my brother said this thing to me, and he told me I should say 60% of whatever I earn. And I was like, this man wants to send me out of the house. Like, how does it come to you? Like, you just drops in your mind, just like 60% of what you earn. Kuku tell me to go and sleep under the bridge. We'll all be fine. And it seemed rather steep. And I think that first month I thought about it. And I think it goes back to financial literacy. How much of the money relationship do you have? Like, do you understand your needs? Do you understand your wants? Have you ever tried to budget? I looked at my budget. I had drawn up a budget because before my salary came in that month, I already drawn up my budget, the things I needed to get, my groceries and everything. So I went back to the budget and I was like, this 60% is not going to work. It's going to be 50%. I really appreciate my parents' advice, but hey, you see what is earning? I'm not earning it. So they will not drive me out of the house. I will be fine. And I started saving 50%. And then, as time went on, I decided, within the current economy in Nigeria, it's become really hard to say you're just saving. It makes more sense to either invest in real estate or in another investment. It doesn't make any sense, or buy dollars or something else. It doesn't make any sense. And I say this again, it doesn't make any sense to save. Just saving, except if you're saving it on a fintech app that allows for a percentage of interest or something like that. And you have to also be very wise on which fintech app you're going for. So that's a different conversation. So I decided, I would have, because at some point, I think as 2020, when we went into that season of pandemic, my brother told me, I should start buying dollars. I should buy dollars. And like I said, he turned out to be my financial mentor. So I started buying dollars. And as 2021 began, I realized that, I'd saved a lot of dollars. Let's go and withdraw all the money. And then I went and withdrew money. And I splurged for a few months. And then I saw red. My money came down. And so, but in all of that, now what I've adopted, I wouldn't say till end of 2021, I think just April, after I saw the red, because for the first few months of the year, after I withdrew my dollars, my eye was shining. Hey, money back. And then I spent all the money and I realized, so money can finish, it can finish, it can really finish. And I became wiser. So I started taking on freelance work, apart from my own main salary paid work. And I decided that whatever money that comes into my account, 30% of it, I don't care how it is coming, what is coming, even if it's 5 naira that is coming in, 30% of that 5 naira will go into an investment. And I feel like that changed the tide for me. Making that decision, it was very difficult. The first time, as in that particular job, I actually got that money, and I was just like, hey, all the things that you need to do, all the things, my brain was literally scrambling through all the things I was supposed to do. But thinking about it, I just said I'd made a commitment to put in 30%, so I was going to do that. Which also boils down to discipline. At the end of the day, a second generation financial woman has to know what discipline is. Because at the end of the day, as money is coming, there are going to be various needs that will come along with the money. Some of those needs, they just appeared so suddenly. So you have to get to that point where you're so circumspect. As the money is coming in, you're sending the errands. I've said this on my podcast a couple of other times, but I'll say it again. Money is like, it has wings. Let's not when it's like money has wings. So if you don't send it on errands the minute you get it, you'll find that it will go on errands that you did not send it. So every time, I feel like one thing some of our mothers didn't do was that, they didn't plan for the money that was coming in. If they did, they might not have ended up in the kind of space, or they would have had better, they would have planned better, and it's okay to have sacrificed a lot, but I wouldn't say it's okay, but context, they might still have sacrificed a lot, but they would have had something to fall back on. Do you understand? Do you understand where I'm
truly understand. For me, Richard, there's a second thing I would want to add. Based on what Dara and Mary said concerning splitting bills, communication before marriage, communication in relationship and all. And I would want to link this to, because of time, actually, I would want to link this to my own belief on whether a man or the husband should be the sole provider, and then what I feel about being a helpmate and the measure that we are supposed to contribute. Now, one thing about that I believe about marriage, about relationship, is that your experience and your belief is relative. What I mean by that is that relationship, marriage is not black and blue. And the fact that is why, even though I have a lot of people around me, and you go on social media these days, there will always be a bad news, somebody serving somebody breakfast. I would never believe that men are scum. I might have experienced some parts that some things growing up where I see that women are not supported and all of that, but I would not let that get into my heart and believe that, in my own future, my husband will not be supportive and all of that. Now, as a woman, it's honestly getting money from someone, maybe a man, is sweet. Like somebody like me, there are certain things I have. The most expensive things I have in my life right now are not things I bought with my money. I'm proud of myself. I'm independent. But if any of my siblings say they want to buy something for me like this, come and see how I'll be happy. On normal days, even if I have that money, I would not go and use it to buy that laptop or that phone. So, and I feel like that's what it's common with women. Like the money that we get from men or husband, it's sweet. But I noticed that most times people squander that kind of money compared to the money that you work your way out, like your hard work. You're always serious with that kind of money. However, marriage,
you didn't work for.
Yeah. So, however, marriage in this is a serious business this time around. So I would not want to say it's not everybody that would be in that kind of situation whereby as a man you have to provide. You have to see. We will find this might not go the way you plan, but we should pray that we should find our own man. When you people are on the same course, like you people have the same goal, it will be easy. Even if it is the woman that is giving more. And for a woman to give more, that means that she has more. But it has to be convenient for her. It's not like, because you know what I observe? It will better pay me. I will be more contented to give more and have this peace than for a man to be giving me everything and then control me. Honestly, it's even if you are my brother, and you are giving me money, but you are not allowing me to exercise my rights or my true self. I don't feel fulfilled. And I noticed that some African men, they want to spend on you. They can afford to squander money on you, but just sit somewhere, just stay somewhere. The financial, what's it called? They will spoil you with money, but they want you controlled. They want you curtailed. I can't survive in that kind of atmosphere. It's better you hold your money. So, but it might not. Like we have to take our heart from negativity. I am going to enjoy marriage, and finances is not going to be the issue. By the grace of God, the two of us are going to have. I trust God for that. So money is not going to be the issue. But even no matter how much you have, there should be communication. Like, in what way do you want to come in? Which one can you take? And if anybody laps, let's say there's an issue, somebody can quarrel for the other person. So because now the thing for the, what's it called, women's what did you just celebrate?
Women's Day.
Women's Day. Thank you.
Break the bias.
Break the bias. Honestly, we are breaking the bias against women, and at the same time, we women should break the bias that we have, because that's why, just like Fumi said, I can't call myself a feminist, especially being a Nigerian, because they have their own definition. Some Africans or Black women have their own definition of feminism. I believe in equal opportunities for everybody, but men, we are not created in the same way, male and female. Everybody has their own area of strength. So you coming in that's why in marriage, everybody, we are chasing the same goal. Nobody would be using the other person. Let me use that word. So everybody will be striving at the same goal. So talking about breaking bias, I think even we women, we have to break the bias against men. Trust me, Black men, they are trying, and it's the fact that they are not jealous. And
this topic is actually going to be on the tribe. But we have another episode that we're going to talk about this bias. Women tearing down women. That's a conversation. A serious conversation.
They are tearing, and honestly, some women of my generation, I don't know where they are created from. I feel like even some Black men need to speak out, like cry out, because some women use men in this generation. They just want to enjoy everything. Some women want a man that can open the door for them, that can clean their feet and all of that. But when it's time to, you want equality. When it's time to turn on the generator, you are still feeling like the man should go. When and I think that we are bound by some cultures, and I'm diving into another thing. Let's not be like I'm against feminists. So bring it on, babe.
I think that yeah.
No, so but sincerely speaking, thank you so much. Like, you're just talking, and I was just thinking, oh girl, because truly, I mean, I went on social media recently, and then I saw what some ladies were going through, and what some men rather are going through. This issue of just, hello, I'm broke. You just met somebody today. The next thing, I've not paid my house rent. Why are you sad? How are you today? I'm not happy. And I could be, and I just became confused. Like, are you serious? What kind of women, do we have nowadays? Like, and when we were all talking, what I was always going to say is, to be sincere, it's not a coincidence that your mom, gave birth to you. Or, I mean, why is it that you are not giving birth? I mean, God has just sent you to Bill Gates' family now. Do you understand? Or Dangote or something. But that there is a purpose behind it, and I'm sure that it's just for us to be able to learn from what, and I think we're talking about it, the impact that our parents or our mom has actually, had or shaping our life too. Because God has a reason why we're going through that route. You may not know now. They will get to a time when you will know. Of course, we need to be able to learn and learn the good, or rather take the good parts, and then unlearn or do away with the part that is not too good, right? But there are things that you probably face in life, and you'll be like, don't worry, we know, because you already somehow what you've learned have shaped you. Take for instance what Femi was talking about, her mom telling her about borrowing money or lending money, all those things. It's there's no way when anything happens like this now, you ask yourself, can I do away with this money? It has shaped you. Do you understand? And I think it's good for us to have that. Also, it's important for us to actually heal. There are things that we have witnessed, and I can. Yes, we need to. No, seriously, we need to heal. No, seriously, I'm not lying. We need to let go of past hurts. Maybe you saw some things and you're like, what kind of rubbish is this? I remember somebody, I won't call the name, who grew up, and her mom was always very, very, to her daddy, everything goes, kneeling down, respectful, all those things together, right? And this man will go and cheat, right? And he will bring somebody, say somebody is pregnant for me, somebody, you use Yoruba to say, Olori Buruku or something like that, said, what you looking for me? And the man will be like, Olori Buruku, did he jump? Did he think jump on her? Sorry I didn't cheat her. Sorry. What I mean here is, did the pregnancy jump on her? Yes, she said one stupid person say she's pregnant for me. Did it happen by mistake, right? So, these are things that happen, and the person just felt like, oh no, this man has cheated you too much. Do you understand? And the person was bitter. Do you get? Such that thing could have translated to that person's marriage, and the way she handled maybe her own marriage because of what she saw growing up. So I think that, we are all here talking about maybe some things that we've noticed when we're growing up, some other instances, maybe we felt that somebody did not carry his weight properly and all that. But we need to heal, because we went through that phase. God put us in that home to learn some things. It's not going to be our portion sorry, I'm a Christian, in Jesus' name. We won't go through that. But let us learn from that and heal. If we feel that, my dad did not carry his weight, I'm not happy about it, or my uncle's or my friend's husband or my auntie's husband, I beg. Let's not have that, because you still have great men out there who are doing their best. Men are trying, what's her name? Fair talked about. They have this kind of burden and responsibility, and unfortunately they may not be that emotional like us, or willing to say, please, I need help. I don't know what I'm doing right. I'm doing wrong. You understand? I don't know how to do this thing. I didn't know it would be this way. If you look at the way Fumi has been talking about her relationship with her mom, and the fact that she can talk to her mom freely, and she can get wisdom. Even all of us, we ask ourselves now, we find out maybe we got that. Ask your brothers if they have that kind of close relationship with maybe a father figure, somebody that they can. You will see that it's not there most of the time. And these are the men that will go and marry women. How? There'll be an issue. They won't know how to communicate and say, I don't know how to do it, I'm failing, help me. So we need to honestly now pray for them. Do you understand? Sometimes things are not right in the home, they know. And later on, they just relax, or they forget, or they don't know what to do, they are helpless. And they just feel that, okay. And sometimes we don't help matters. Some of us do not speak well. Right? When things are not right, we just rubbish them and look at your mates out there. Too good for nothing. And the man may just lose self-esteem and just say, okay. But imagine if you say, you are my king. You are a king. This is not your ending. Do you understand? You will bounce back. I trust you. That's bruised ego. That ability of, what a sack, what a layoff can do to a man, or what a failed business. You build and you build that ego back so that it can bounce back. Do you get? So I think sometimes we also, in breaking the bias, we also need to break some of the biases we may have. Because sometimes if we do not heal, that anger, that thing, God forbid, we see something happening and we just destroy that man. God forbid, what my mother went through, never. Or what Mrs. Labada went through, it's not going to happen. You're a man, no? You hear? Stop sitting in the parlor. So, you tear them apart, right?
So
I think I need to stop.
Really
Let me stop.
But before we go, the last thing before we go, is I want us to do something. So everyone should say like a 3-line note for what you would for your daughter, future daughter. None of us have children yet, so but for future daughter, like the 10th generation. So let's start with Dara.
I don't get what you mean by 3-line this thing.
Okay, so a 3-line note, like, okay, so this is like, oh dear, what you want to name your daughter, and then say 3 lines of affirmations or something that you would want her to remember in her journey of life.
Can someone else do that, please? I'm confused.
Okay.
Maybe can I try?
Can I? Can I?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Me? Yeah, okay. Hi, princess. You're beautiful. You're amazing. I'm proud of you. You have all it takes in you to be the very best. Never doubting yourself. All right? You have my support at all times. I'm rooting for you. Go be your best. Love you.
Thank you for opening the floor. Ibe, are you ready?
I think so. Okay. I don't know what I would name my daughter yet, but I would say, Dear Ifeoluwa Junior, you are beautiful, you are limitless, and do not take fear. Do not take fear. I don't know if I'm speaking to my daughter. I'm speaking to myself right now. Take the risk. If you fail, learn from your failures. But what if you do not fail? Do not give room for fear. I love you so much.
Oh,
Right now. Thank you, Ife.
you said?
And are you ready? Are you ready now? I'm waiting for you.
Is it me? Is it Dara?
Yeah. Who else?
I still don't know what to say, but let me just say something. Dear Ada, be strong. Go for what you want. Shine your eyes while doing it, because the streets are not smiling.
The street is smiling. The street is smiling their time in Jesus' name.
Amen.
We can't continue this.
No, like what I'm trying to say is that the world,
Like she should be
has
sharp.
never been an easy place. So whatever you're doing,
Should
just
be
shine
sharp.
your eyes.
Yeah.
Chase your
Yeah,
dreams.
continue.
Shine your
Are you
eyes.
done?
Yeah.
Fumi, let's have
Are you sure you're done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Who said I heard something?
Fumi, let's have you now. Your Fumi.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Take it easy, my darling. Fall in love with the King of Kings again and again. Let him be your guide, your father, and your friend. Let him take you to the ends of the earth and anywhere he so desires.
I think
Yeah,
I'm the
no.
only one that is not emotional here.
You said?
I'm the only one that is not emotional. My note to my future daughter is not emotional.
No,
She will
don't
think I
worry.
want her to be a soldier.
No. We express
No.
ourselves differently, so don't say that.
No, strength is a beautiful thing. I believe it's good to have strength. It's okay if you fall apart. I think that's also something we need to also talk about in the healing conversation. But for this conversation, yes, it's okay to your own future is like, I don't know how to say this, but everyone's journey is different. If a person will need strength for their own journey, that's not a bad thing. It makes their own journey unique, and that's okay. That's actually quite beautiful. How do they say it? Church avasa. In that's in Igbo, but in English, we're about to say that we have closed church for today.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful to have had all of you here with us.
And I
it's been
must have that
really-
I really had a great time. I know that you didn't plan this podcast to be this long, but everybody
I did not plan it to be this long. Let's not lie.
everything was so relevant. Like it was as if I was speaking to people in my community. You get, even though we are meeting here for the first time, but it really feels like home. I
Thank you.
appreciate everyone.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me for me. Thanks
Thank you
for
for joining
thanks.
us.
I think this is my first official postcard, if there's anything like that, and I really enjoyed it. I remember being all the whole skeptic. I mean, who knows? Oh my gosh, have I prepared? Have I prayed about it? Have I, But I mean, I had fun. Nice meeting Ife and Dara, and I've learned from this meeting. I've learned to put something and to unlearn as well. So thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here. And hopefully maybe one day there'll be a meetup or something and we get to see each other and meet in person. All right.
Maybe you're putting ideas into my head. When I send you invite now, don't tell me story.
It was so interesting
How many
having
chats?
this discussion. Like, I've actually stayed there for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And we didn't realize it. I'd be for 2 hours. And there was somebody that was lamenting at first that 2 hours was much. And now, just look at us. If Fumi did not even call it to an end, we'd still be bringing up more and more things.
Yeah.
It was nice meeting all of you.
Really?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Richard,
thank you,
that
everyone.
meetup,
Yes.
that meetup that Mary was talking about. Please, let us
Eh.
be Bahamas or Santorini, Jamaica.
I like you.
Oh
There's a
my
reason I
God.
like you.
I want
Oh.
to travel the world. It's money that is
Ah.
calling me.
Ife, nice one, Bahamas. Wow.
The way forward. Ah. It's a good thing. It's been really, I can't say this enough. And I say this from so many parts of me. It's like, wow, Fumi, you did this. We're grateful that you did this. I'm glad we had this conversation. I feel like there's a lot of things that's been laid to rest. I really hope that beyond this podcast, so much of what we've said and what will be shared later, when the podcast is ready, would impact lives, not just other people's lives, but our own personal lives. I like to think we made magic. I hope that you also think that we've done that too. Thank you for coming to the Talking in Circles podcast. I am still and will always be your host, at least always, I think so. Yes, Fumi Richards. Thank you once again.